Our News is brought to you by Alive.
Tonight on Our News, a former minister hits back at the DRA chairman amid questions over massive contracts. How the rising cost of goods is impacting small businesses and feeding programs. Our Jared Higgs catches up with an Olympian on her journey to the gold. Plus, all you need is love and donuts this Valentine's Day. Welcome to Our News, and thanks for joining us. I'm Christina Dragovich. Topping news tonight, former State Minister for Disaster Preparedness, Management and Reconstruction, Pakeisha Parker Edgecombe, is hitting back at Disaster Reconstruction Authority Executive Chairman Alex Storr, who called contracts issued post-Dorian in Grand Bahama into question. Parker Edgecombe is challenging how figures were released without a completed audit. She added that there seems to be some hypocrisy relating to contracts. Bethany McDermott reports.
It is somewhat really puzzling that comments can be made relative to the operations in such a short period of time without really going into the audit per se.
Disaster Reconstruction Authority Executive Chairman Alex Storr told the Nassau Guardian that while less work was done on Grand Bahama in the aftermath of Hurricane Dorian, more money was spent, adding that one company received as much as $1 million a month. He said he's seen bills of $400,000 and some as high as $500,000 a month, while in Abaco, the highest bill was just over $300,000 on one site and up to $180,000 on another site. However, former State Minister for Disaster Preparedness, Management and Reconstruction, Pakeisha Parker Edgecombe, is questioning these figures, saying how can they be validated?
Figures are being thrown out there for public consumption that is not really necessarily validated. And so, there's a concern there as to why is it all of a sudden that these figures are just being thrown out there and there's nothing to validate them. Who is to say that these figures are absolutely correct? And I think that the audit will reveal this when it is done.
Storr said work in Grand Bahama was severely overvalued and questioned why the cost in Grand Bahama was so much higher than that of Abaco. He said an audit of the DRA's accounts is ongoing. The authority has failed to comply with the law, which mandates that the DRA's audited accounts be submitted to the minister responsible 3 months after the end of each financial year. A copy must be laid in Parliament. It also requires all contracts awarded within a fiscal year be publicly disclosed at the end of the fiscal year. To date, no contract has been made public. The former West End and Bimini MP said there is some hypocrisy present as it relates to the handling of contracts.
How is it that you can come and say that this particular contract is basically being pulled out when you yourselves know that there are contracts under your administration and your government prior that were similar? So it's disingenuous in my opinion.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Bethany McDermott.
Higher prices are hitting home for just about everyone, from businesses to consumers. Also feeling the pinch is a local feeding program that's finding it difficult to keep food on the shelves. Jasmine Brown reports.
From local nonprofit organizations to low-income families and local businesses, the hike in prices is hitting everyone. 79-year-old Fillmore Hall is a retiree living off a small pension in a government complex for senior citizens. And with prices rising, he's trying to make what he has stretch, something he says is nothing short of a miracle.
You have to make it. You have to know enough financial mathematics to do with your income what Christ did with the 5 loaves and 3 fishes. Because it's extremely hard.
Consumers around the world are seeing higher prices for goods and services, and though some reasons for this vary by country, inflation is turning into something of a worldwide phenomenon, and the Bahamas is not immune. Those who make less are feeling it more, as experts say inflation hurts those with the least the most. And while Hands for Hunger has made it its mission to help those in need, keeping the shelves at its Carmichael Road pantry full of food items is becoming a challenge.
Everything that we need to purchase costs a little bit more, in some cases a lot more. So we operate this pantry where we purchase foods and request donations of food items so that we can give them to people who are in need, people who suffer from food assistance. A lot of our inventory is purchased with money that's donated to us. So we're finding that the amounts that are donated just really aren't going as far as they used to.
And then there is the impact on small businesses. Lioness Sushi, which is located on Arawaki, announced prices would increase on an Instagram post this week as the cost of ingredients have spiked. Owner chef Evita Carey says it was either increase or go in the red.
It's gotten to the point where as a company, we're no longer able to absorb the cost. And this is something that we've been doing since the onset of COVID-19. This isn't just a new thing with prices going up. It's been going on since last year and even the year before that. And as a small business, we try our best to use increasing prices as a last resort, but we literally had no choice.
COVID-19 has wreaked havoc on global supply chains. A recent study by the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization showed that food prices last month for sugar, meat, dairy, vegetable oil, and cereal were all up compared to December 2021. Reporting for our news, I'm Jasmine Brown.
In other news, Olympic gold medalist Pauline Davis-Thompson is opening up about her struggles and triumphs during her track and field career that spanned 3 decades. Her new book, Running Sideways, chronicles the Baintown girl's life from her days sprinting home from the shop to her vision of Olympic gold. Jared Higgs has the story.
From Olympic gold medal success,
I was so overjoyed, like you see me jumping up in the air.
To dark days of uncertainty, sadness, and rejection.
They're like, you're suspended for life.
Pauline Davis-Thompson, one of the country's most renowned and successful track and field athletes, tells all in her new book, titled Running Sideways. The name itself speaks to the challenges Davis-Thompson faced as a young girl as she would run sideways to avoid neighborhood boys touching her inappropriately, as she would tote water home from the government pump.
Well, they used to try to feel me up because I was quite voluptuous as a young girl.
But Davis-Thompson has fond memories of her days growing up in Baintown, where she says she was well loved. Her track and field dream started at D.W. Davis and took her to the Carifta Games. In 1983 and 1984, the Bahamas won both editions. The 1984 event, right here on home soil. Davis-Thompson's senior career began that year as well, as she competed in her first of 5 Olympic Games. A 1989 suspension by the B3As for insubordination nearly railroaded her career. But that didn't stop her vision of Olympic glory, which she says started to manifest in her mind before the 1996 Olympics, where the women's 4x100-meter relay team won silver.
Girls are looking at me like, okay, Pauline, you said we was going to win an Olympic gold medal. I look at them and I'm like, listen, I saw it in my dreams.
Fast forward to the year 2000 at the Sydney Olympics in Australia. The anticipation was built, especially after the Golden Girls' gold medal performance at the World Championships in Seville, Spain, the year before. Davis-Thompson, along with Debbie Ferguson, Sabathita Fines, Eldise Clark, and Chandra Stirrup, triumphed over the Americans to win the Olympic gold outright.
We spent our own little pennies that we had, which wasn't much. We ain't had much, but we were all on the same page that we were determined to bring this medal home for the country.
Davis-Thompson also reminds readers about the challenges she faced at the top level. Besides issues with the B3As here at home, she says she also faced challenges as she traveled the world as a black woman. She says she's overwhelmed with gratitude for Bahamians who have shown appreciation to her over the years through small acts of kindness.
And that is why my book is dedicated to my Bahama land. It's dedicated to my Bahama land. Because while I had people tearing me down, I had so many ordinary Bahamians lifting me up.
The book was released on February 9th, and Davis-Thompson will host a signing on March 8th, that's International Women's Day, at Goodman's Bay. Reporting for Our News, I'm Jared Higgs.
Another cloudy night ahead. Meteorologist Greg Thompson is in the Weather Center with our first look. Good evening, Greg.
Thanks, Christine, and a happy Thursday evening, everybody. Our first look at weather tonight is being brought to you by Ports International, trusted medical supplies for a better quality of life. Comfortable temperatures outside our studios right now. They're in the low 70s, 73. Slight breeze out of the northeast at 6 miles per hour with just a few clouds outside. 74 is your feels like temperature right now on the outdoors. Satellite view That front boundary had moved through the northwest Bahamas, now down in the deep south, hanging out near the central and southeastern portions of the Bahamas, most of the cloud mass associated with that system, pulling out towards the east and into the Atlantic. A couple of spotty showers still hanging out down in that location, but high pressures building in from the Gulf of Mexico will continue to keep us in a north to northeasterly flow, so comfortable temperatures expected tonight through tomorrow. That's your first look at weather. Your extended forecast is still to come.
Still to come, an Interpol red notice issued for a Grand Bahama murder suspect, and a senior PAHO official applauds health officials' position on major events. Find out more after this.
Welcome to our news, and thanks for joining us. Topping news tonight.
COVID-19 remains a serious threat.
Coronavirus COVID-19 has disrupted our economy, tourism industry, educational system, and put our healthcare facilities and professionals on high alert. Are you prepared? Do you have all the facts? Stay tuned to this network for the very latest news and information on this global pandemic.
An Interpol red notice has been issued for an accused killer who's on the run from Bahamian authorities. The notice was issued on February 7th and is an upgrade in the fugitive status. Jared Higgs has more.
Police confirmed to Our News that an Interpol red notice has been issued for Kenrick Hanna, aka BJ Bow, and will be widely circulated in the coming days. In December 2019, Hanna, who was now 32, was charged with the murder of his girlfriend, 30-year-old Monee Darville. The Grand Bahama woman was stabbed to death in her apartment in South Bahamia. A red notice puts police forces around the world on alert for fugitives wanted either for prosecution or to serve a sentence. A red notice is a request to law enforcement worldwide to locate and provisionally arrest a person pending extradition, surrender, or similar legal action.
I feel very hopeful. I'm also grateful that this has happened.
Darville's cousin, Owen Roll, has long sounded the alarm on Hannah's breach of bail, which took place in August 2020 and included him tampering with and disposing of his ankle bracelet. The red notice put out will include Hannah's fingerprints and a passport photo. Darville's family is relieved as they felt for a long time that not enough attention was being paid to the matter.
If I were in my cousin's state or had something done horrific to me and I could not speak for myself, I would always want someone to be a voice for me.
Sources familiar with Hannah's bail conditions tell us he absconded to either Canada or Jamaica. Interpol also thinks he could be in the United States or Haiti. His suretors have paid the court $9,000 of the $25,000 bail that was set. Hanna, who jumped from a second-story balcony before he was arrested back in 2019, would show up to court in a wheelchair, but could reportedly manage to walk. Roll had this appeal to Hanna.
You have a daughter. You have a mother. You have sisters. And anyone with any type of humanity in them, any kind of heart, would not want anything to be ill done to their daughter or their sisters.
It has taken nearly 18 months for this Interpol red notice to be issued.
The courts may never give us the justice we hope for, but God is the ultimate judge. And he will certainly fight this battle for us. So it is a dangerous thing to be in the hands of an angry God, Kenrick. Turn yourself in.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Jared Higgs.
Meanwhile, the Bahamas Ministry of Health's review and approval process for large events is a very good policy, according to Pan American Health Organization experts.
We are aware that some organizers decide not to request the Ministry of Health and they decide to organize those events. In those situations, we saw that the Ministry of Health itself, according with other authorities, went to those events and even had to stop the public from attending such events.
PAHO Director of Health Emergencies, Dr. Ciro Ugarte, says PAHO is aware that some events have been shut down by the Bahamas Ministry of Health for not following health protocols. So far, he says it is a good policy.
We are aware that in the Bahamas there is a good process to approve large concerts and gatherings. The organizers request approval from the Ministry of Health, including all the plans that they have, and the Ministry of Health provides advice and guidance.
Most recently, 2 concert events were scrapped after they did not receive the necessary approvals from health officials. According to PAHO, each country makes its own protocols based on the current COVID situation.
It is important to consider the current epidemiologic situation, as we said, the current capacity of the health services, particularly ICU beds and hospitalization beds, and the vaccination rates to decide which restrictions may be relaxed and at what level.
Although COVID case numbers may decline, Dr. Ugarte warns countries against prematurely relaxing public health measures.
Close coordination between corresponding authorities is needed to make the best decisions in a context of the current pandemic, where we see a sharp increase of cases when we relax the public health and social measures.
When our news returns, we got a few ideas on how you can keep things sweet this Valentine's Day, and a Grand Bahama basketball team sporting new bling. The details when our news returns.
Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. Topping news tonight.
COVID-19 remains a serious threat.
Coronavirus COVID-19 has disrupted our economy, tourism industry, educational system, and put our healthcare facilities and professionals on high alert. Are you prepared? Do you have all the facts? Stay tuned to this network for the very latest news and information on this global pandemic.
This is our news. Welcome back. Chocolate has been the staple sweet treat for Valentine's Day, but tonight a local pastry chef is dishing up donuts worth falling in love with. Megan Shepard got a sneak peek at her recipes created specifically for the month of love.
Sure, you can keep it traditional with flowers and candy this Valentine's Day. Or you can spread the love with these one-of-a-kind sweet treats made in paradise. Paradise Gourmet, that is. Talk about what Valentine's Day means to you.
Well, to me, as a business owner, I love to see love. I love love. And I love to see my customers wanting to appreciate their loved ones through my products.
Kenria Taylor founded the Paradise Gourmet in 2020 while living on Grand Bahama. Since moving to New Providence last fall, the young pastry chef has whipped up mouth-watering homemade donuts and other unique confectionery creations.
We hand make it, we hand roll it, hand cut them out, and hand fry them. And Paradise Gourmet is actually a team of one. So from our logo design to our website to making the products is all done by me. So I'm so happy to have a physical product for customers to enjoy.
And we know when persons think of Valentine's Day, they think about traditional chocolate or candy.
Right.
Talk about the twist with donuts.
The twist with donuts, we're incorporating our candies into our donuts. So on the Ferrero Rocher donut, you will find a little mini Ferrero Rocher.
Taylor keeps it fresh by switching up her flavors monthly. So what can we fall in love with this February?
Our first one is the red velvet. We have a vanilla bean glaze, a cream cheese frosting, and a red velvet whoopie pie. Then we have a salted caramel brownie donut, salted caramel glaze, salted caramel buttercream, chocolate sprinkles, and a fudge brownie. And then we have Love Actually, my favorite rom-com, which is a strawberry glaze with heart sprinkles. So
I'm going to go with this one with the heart brownie on top. Reporting for Our News, I'm Megan Shepard.
Looks delicious. Well, the St. George's Jaguars finally collecting their national basketball championship rings. Marcellus Hall has the details tonight in sports.
Thanks a lot, Christina. Welcome to our sports, everybody. I'm Marcellus Hall. They say some things better late than never. In the case of the St. George's Jaguars, it's really happening that way around because they won a national championship back in 2019, finally getting their championship rings and finally getting the accolades they well deserve. Let's take a look. Well, after a very long wait, St. George's high school basketball teams presented with their 2019 national championship rings. On hand for the presentation were the Prime Minister, the Honorable Brave Davis, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Fred Mitchell, and of course the Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture, the Honorable Mario Bolek. Also in attendance were current NFL player and Grand Bahama native Mike Strawn of the Indianapolis Colts. They all were on hand to celebrate the occasion as these teams are unable to get their rings prior to this because of COVID-19 restrictions. Now, speaking at the event were the Prime Minister himself, along with the Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture, the Honorable Mario Bolek.
I celebrate with you on the major achievements, your 2019 win at the National High School Basketball Championship. That is admirable and a true representation of what hard work and determination will get you. You became history makers for not just your school, but the entire community of Grand Bahama, and for that you should be proud.
6 years ago, I think it was Evan Wisdom, along with Norris Bain, who felt that the Hugh Campbell should not be the elite basketball tournament in the country because it was owned by the F. Adley High School. So they brainstormed and decided that they will have a high school nationals, and they felt it should be in Grand Bahama. Well, 6 years ago, the first championship was played right here in this gym, and when I walked in this gym as head coach of the C.C. Speeding Senior Boys High School team. Coming off from winning the Hugh Campbell finals, we then faced the then and still now St. George's Jaguars. It was a tough game. Like Butler said, in his mind, we stole that one. But we came with the intent to know that I was about to retire, and Darryl says, can tell you this. And I said, this is the first one, and I can take that, and I go on.
And that is indeed your check on sports here on this Thursday. I'm Marcellus Hall. Back to you, Christina.
Thanks, Marcellus. A closer look at weather is still to come when our news returns.
Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. Topping news tonight.
COVID-19 remains a serious threat.
Coronavirus COVID-19 has disrupted our economy, tourism industry, educational system, and put our healthcare facilities and professionals on high alert. Are you prepared? Do you have all the facts? Stay tuned to this network for the very latest news and information on this global pandemic.
Welcome back to our news. More cloudy conditions ahead. Greg Thompson joins us with the extended weather. Hi again, Greg.
Thanks again, Christina. Welcome back, everybody, for our second look at weather. That ridge of high pressure in the Gulf of Mexico now building across the Bahamas, going to become centered across Florida, and that's going to continue to push that frontal boundary that moved through the capital overnight and into the southeast Bahamas. The remnants of this frontal boundary we expect to lift back towards north over the next day or two, so we could see some patchy clouds and some spotty showers with this system, but that high pressure system will move across and dominate our weather into the weekend. But we do expect another front sometime on Sunday, just in time for Valentine's Day. So if you like the cool weather, it's going to be time to snuggle up for that Valentine's Day. Boating forecast for the northwest and central Bahamas tonight through tomorrow. Your winds will be out of the northeast to east at 10 to 15 knots. Seas 2 to 4 feet over the ocean. Your low tide will be at 9:18 tonight. For the southeast Bahamas, a caution flag posted for you guys down there. Still breezy out there. East to southeast winds 15 to 20 knots. Seas will be running 4 to 6 feet over the ocean. Here's a look now at some Family Island weather and temperatures. A look now at your extended forecast over the next 7 days. Pleasant weather expected for the weekend, and then a cold front by Sunday. Christina?
Thanks, Greg, and thank you for joining us for our news tonight. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Christina Dragovich. We'll see you right back here tomorrow night. Have a beautiful evening, Bahamas.